I hope all is well with you because things are great with me. Today I'm going to be reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race Season 7, Episode 3. So, I did not like this episode at all. I did not enjoy it. I didn't want to review this one. I didn't take notes. So I'm just going to talk to you about a few things that happened in this episode, and we're going to be on our way because I really don't have time for it. So I think the reason why I hated this episode so much is because I was so excited for the challenge because, I saw the sneak preview, of course, the week before, and I was like, yes, this is going to be awesome because, they were going to do Shakes Queer, and then they had these two different plays, and I love it when people take old things and make it modern, because I just feel like it's just so much fun, in my opinion. I was so excited to see these performances because I'm always loving it when things are contemporized. Is that even a word? I don't know. I like it when things are made new. But, so I thought that this was going to be a really great episode, and I thought that I was going to get to see some really good performances, and that didn't happen. Let's start from the beginning. The mini challenge of the show was pretty cute. RuPaul, he comes in with like his little hover around. I thought that was so funny, and he was saying that he was old or whatever. And they had to dress up as old. They had to dress up in old drag and do a Soul Train line. And I'm always here for Soul Train lines. I feel like they need to do it every season. I don't think they do, but they do need to do it every season. And it was just the funniest thing ever to see everyone do their old lady drag and go down the Soul Train line. And my favorite was when Jasmine Masters went down the Soul Train line. And RuPaul was like, wait, where did you get this loaf of bread? And I was thinking the same thing too. I was like, where did this loaf of bread just come from? She was just holding a loaf of bread. And we come to find out later because I was looking at Reddit, and according to what Ginger Minch had said at a viewing party, she said that Jasmine Masters, like, out of the 3 suitcases she brought, 2 of them were filled with food, like a lot of like sandwich meats and stuff to make sandwiches and hot sauce. And so that's probably where her loaf of bread came from. It came from her suitcase. So I thought that was pretty funny. And it was a good mini challenge. The mini challenge I enjoyed and I thought was fantastic. And then we find out that Max and, who was the other person that won? Oh, Max and Kennedy won the mini challenge, and so they're going to be captains for the next challenge, which is where they are going to be performing Shakespeare, which I thought was really clever. And they had 2 plays that they were going to do. Max's team was going to do Romeo and Juliet, which is a take of Romeo and Juliet. And then, and I hate to cuss, so this is probably one of the rare times you're going to hear me say this, but but Kennedy's team got McBitch, which is a play off Macbeth. And when I heard this, I was like, oh yes, this is going to be a fantastic challenge. This is going to be amazing. And so they get into their groups, and I can't remember for the life of me the groups. They really don't matter. The only thing you need to know is Pearl and Jasmine and Violet were on a team. And then there was other people on the other team. And Jaden DeJour Fierce was on Max's team. Those are the people that are basically significant in this challenge. But when we see Kennedy's team get together to assign parts, it's just so funny. Because they were assigning parts, and Kennedy was like, McBitch is mean, sassy, stuck up. Oh, Violet, you'd be perfect for the part. And Violet didn't seem to appreciate that too much. But then Jasmine, she said that she didn't want to play Ghetto Girl. So she would prefer to play McBitch so that she could like I guess throw RuPaul off her game and let everybody know that she is versatile, honey. And because Kennedy and Jasmine are good Judies, Kennedy gave Jasmine the part. And Violet did not appreciate that too much because she felt that she would have been a better big bitch. And I personally agree. Like, when Kennedy assigned it to Jasmine, I was like, no, don't do that. As much as I love Jasmine, I felt like in order for you to get through the challenge, you need to be smart. And in order to be smart, you need to assign people the right parts so that everyone can excel. So they get to practicing and they find out that Jasmine is not doing a good job as McBitch. So Kennedy decides to switch Violet's and Jasmine's part, and now Violet is now McBitch. And then I guess Jasmine is some type of cheerleader. I can't remember her role, but she's a ghetto cheerleader. And Jasmine did not appreciate that, but whatever. It was a good call on Kennedy's behalf. I was like, thank God she decided to change it, because as much as I would have loved to see Jasmine as McBitch, she wasn't doing a good job at that time. Max's group, everyone's seeing that Max is very quirky. But Max is getting the job done, even though she is a little all over the place, but she's getting the job done. So, we'll talk about it later. But the next day, they were supposed to rehearse that night, of course, and the next day it was filming in front of RuPaul and Michelle. And so the first group to go up was Max's group, and everyone is messing up and not doing well. And it's like, oh no. Like, everybody was messing up, and the person that was messing up the most was Jaden. And Jaden kind of freaks out and starts crying because she says she really, really wants this. And so the fact that she's messing up, she knows that if she messes up hard enough, she's going home. So the whole group does a terrible job. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is, Like, the thing is, both plays were so much fun. You can tell that the lines were so, it's supposed to be a comedy, like a really good comedy. And half of it relied on the drag queen's delivery. So if you weren't delivering the line correctly, the whole play was wasted and it wasn't fun at all. And so, when people were saying things and it was not in the way that they should have been said, it was just like, no, this is supposed to be so good and it's so bad. And then, so Max's team finally finishes, and now it is Jasmine Masters' team. No, it's not. It's Kennedy's team, but Jasmine is in it. Oh my gosh, my cat is all on my light, and she's about to knock it over. Girl, no, move. Go. She does not listen to me. Ugh. Anyway, sorry. But I thought that Max's team did terrible. And then Jasmine's team comes and it's just terrible. Everyone was just so bad. Pearl has no motion. And at first, for a second, I was warming up to Pearl. I was like, okay, maybe she's better than what I thought. Because, the challenge last week, I thought she did really, really well. And then here she comes, just like, I don't give a and she's just being so monotone. And I don't know if she did it on purpose to make herself look funny, but it looked terrible. It was horrible. Jasmine didn't know her lines. Actually, nobody knew their lines. It was just bad all around. Just terrible. And then it got to the point where RuPaul was getting very frustrated. And I see where he was coming from because, like I said before, like, the play was written out. It's a funny play, but it can't be funny if the performers are not delivering. And none of them were delivering. It was terrible. So RuPaul lets them have it, and they get through the play finally, but it was terrible. At one part that I thought was so hilarious was when he goes to Michelle. He's just like, "What is happening?" Michelle was just like, "Oh, it was a train wreck for everybody." Then it was runway time. Oh, well, before runway, of course, we get to see everybody in their habitat getting ready for the bearded runway, in which everyone was supposed to wear beards. And Jasmine, she's saying, "Ooh, what I'm wearing today, RuPaul is not going to be able to take it. It's going to be fierce." And I was like, okay, let's see what Jasmine is going to have up her sleeve. I'm like, okay, maybe she's going to turn it out. Who knows? And I don't know. I personally was not a fan of this bearded runway because I don't know. It didn't appeal to me personally. And we see the runway. The people that stood out to me was Max. I loved the way that she did her runway because her beard she did this little, it was really cute, like a little curly thing each way. I thought that was really cute. I liked Katya's runway because she did Abe Lincoln, which was genius in my opinion. I thought that was a really good idea. Everybody else to me was so-so. No, I love Trixie's because she looked really pretty. Like, because I guess with the hair and her eyes, everything was so piercing. And I mean, I personally, she did good. So those are my top three. My bottom two, I can only think of two that I was just like, oh no. First of all, Kennedy Davenport, her outfit was like so-so, but the thing that just bothered me so much was her beard was just, it looked like she had glued pubes on her face. It was just, ugh, it was terrible. And then Jasmine Masters, she was correct. That gown was sickening. It was so beautiful. It was like, yes, Jasmine. And then you look at her face. It looked like she took black eyeshadow and then went on the runway. And it was frustrating because you can see that everyone else seemed to have taken the time to put care into their beard. And then here comes Jasmine with the little eyeshadow and was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Oh, one more person I forgot that I thought had a good bearded runway was Pearl. Because she used different materials, which she used some kind of red pattern. I have no idea, but that made a really good beard. I was really impressed with that. But everybody else I can't remember. I don't know what they look like. So, but anyway, we get to watch the two performances. One thing I will say about the performances is it's clear they had edited McBitch to look worse than it was, and I think the editing was in the favor of Romy and Juliet, like, because I'm pretty sure there was a lot of awkward pauses in Romy and Juliet, but they were all cut out. And then when it came to McBitch, they left all the awkwardness in there, all of it. And once again, when I was watching both of the performances, it was extremely frustrating because I knew that if the performances were on point, that these performances would be so much more enjoyable. Like, if the queens had their lines down and they delivered it in the appropriate way, we would have had such an amazing performance. So amazing. And that didn't happen because people were not prepared. And it was just so weird and strange to me. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm dwelling on the same thing. It's just weird and strange to me that they weren't prepared. I'm just like, what happened? Because usually everyone is on point. Yeah, we have one or two people that mess up their lines, but for the most part, everyone is always on point. So I'm so confused about what happened this time. But anyway, clearly the better performance was Romy and Juliet. And Max is named the winner of the challenge, and I feel like she deserved it. And I'm really excited for Max. Like, I really, really like her. I really extremely enjoy her aesthetic. I enjoy her attitude. It just seems like she's just so happy to be there performing. And I like that about her. So I was really happy when she won. What happened next? So the cast of Romy and Juliet were safe because they had the better video, clearly. And everybody else was up for elimination. And Kennedy and Jasmine were in the bottom, as they should have been. I would have done a freeway tie, actually, and put Pearl in there. And Violet. Look, shoot, they all could have been in the bottom. They were terrible. One thing that I noticed was RuPaul had a Tyra Banks moment. She just went in on them and cussed them out because they did such a terrible job, and they deserved that verbal whooping because it was terrible. The whole thing was terrible because it was a cute concept, a very cute script, and the performance was just terrible. So it made the whole thing terrible. Ugh. I'm still mad about that. But then the people on the bottom were Kennedy and Jasmine, and they had to lip sync for their life. When I saw this, I was like, oh no. I didn't want Kennedy to lip sync so early, but when I found out those two were lip syncing, I was like, okay, Jasmine's going home, because Kennedy, I've seen videos of her and she just turns it out. She's amazing. But when I looked at the lip sync, it was okay on both ends, but I really enjoyed Jasmine. She dropped it at this one point in the song. It was like a go, go, and she would drop it, and it was such a clean drop, and she'll pop back up. And I was feeling that. So in my opinion, Jasmine won the lip sync. But they weren't going to keep Jasmine another week. Nope, not after all that had happened. Nope. She was going home. And apparently she had packed her things the day of, because she was just ready to go. Like, she was just like, okay, I'm ready to see my family. I'm done. Bye. So she got eliminated, and kind of sucks because I don't know. It seemed as if Jasmine was thinking too much about everybody else. Like, it seemed like the old ladies were pit against the younger ones, and Kennedy, Jasmine, and Ginger, they took the time to like point out, oh, and Mrs. Kasha Davis. They all took the time to point out the flaws in the younger girls, and it seemed like they were concentrating so much on what the younger girls were doing instead of upping their own game. And so because of that, I guess it was justified that Jasmine went home. I just wish that people weren't so nasty on Twitter and Facebook about, the eliminations of the queens, because they're all so fabulous. And in a competition setting, people change. So, I mean, what can you do? What can you do? Absolutely nothing. But I don't know what else to say. I'm done with this episode. I usually watch the episode twice so that I can, take down notes for the review, but I couldn't sit through that another time. Like, that episode, I did not enjoy it at all. And I'm looking forward to next week's episode, because we're just going to pretend this one didn't happen. Okay? So, I'm done. I just want to explain a few things. First, this little contraption. So, it's spring break for me, and I have decided to furniture paint this whole entire week. So, I was painting today, and I cut myself when I was trying to do something. I was trying to remove some of the wood with a blunt knife, which is the dumbest thing you should do. But anyway, it got cut, and I have a Band-Aid, and I was painting, and I just wanted to make sure that no paint got on my cut. So I decided to do this little ghetto contraption just to make sure that it stays dry, because I I haven't gotten cut in a long time, and looking at it just made me nauseous. It was pretty nasty. But I'm going to have a video up later on this week about the furniture that I painted. I'm really proud of this piece. It's kind of sort of amazing. And I think starting tomorrow, I realize I have not updated anything on my Lent because when it came to the juicing just didn't happen, unfortunately. And so since it's spring break, I decided, okay, I have no choice. I have no excuse. Let me juice. So I've been juicing, and I think I'm going to do daily vlogs for the rest of the spring break. Yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully that happens. Okay, so now I'm just rambling. If you got to the end of this video, you're amazing, because oh, this is like one of my worst reviews ever, because it was the worst episode ever. Let me just end this video. I hope you guys are doing everything you need to do in order to have a happy, successful, and healthy life, and I will talk to you next week. Bye!